All right, today we're jumping into something that sounds like it's pulled straight from a sci-fi movie, using light to heal the human body. We're talking about low-level laser therapy, a fascinating field that's just full of incredible promise, but also a ton of intense scientific debate.
I mean, just think about that for a minute. No pills, no surgery, no invasive procedures. Just light. A targeted beam of light that could speed up how you heal and just turn off pain. It's a really powerful idea, right? And it's not brand new. Scientists and doctors have been digging into this for decades.
But, it's not that simple. This isn't some clear-cut miracle cure. For every single study that comes out with these amazing results, you'll find another one that says, it's no better than a sugar pill. So, what is going on here? Is this the real deal, a genuine medical breakthrough, or is it all just well-marketed hype? To really get to the bottom of it, we've got to start with the huge problem it's designed to fix.
So why is this technology so appealing in the first place? Well, to get it, you've got to understand the sheer scale of the problem we're talking about here. And that problem, in a nutshell, is chronic pain.
30%. Let that sink in for a second. That's how much of the U.S. population is dealing with chronic pain. And we're talking about pain that just doesn't go away, sticking around for months on end. This isn't a small number. It's tens of millions of people, and a lot of them are just desperate for anything that will bring them some relief.
So what do people usually do? Well, the traditional route has always been pills, right? Things like NSAIDs or, the much bigger problem, opioids. But we all know the serious downsides there. So naturally, people and their doctors are looking for other options, for alternatives. You've got things like acupuncture, Tai Chi, and the one we're focusing on today, low-level laser therapy, or LLT for short.
Okay, so what is this stuff anyway? How in the world can a beam of light, actually heal you or get rid of pain? I know, it sounds pretty out there, but there is some really fascinating science behind it. So let's break it down.
So LLT, and you might also hear it called by its super technical name, photobiomodulation, is basically a non-invasive therapy. It uses low-intensity light to give your body's own healing systems a little kickstart. And this is the really important part. The whole point is to stimulate your cells, not to destroy them. And that brings us to a super important point. Because when you and I hear the word laser, what do we think of? Probably those high-power scalpels that cut through tissue in surgery, right? Well, LLT is the complete opposite of that. We're talking about very low power and very specific colors of light, usually in the red or near-infrared spectrum. It's designed to go right through your skin without burning it, to deliver energy straight to the cells underneath.
Okay, so this is where it gets really cool. How does a beam of light talk to a cell? I mean, what's actually happening on a biological level that makes this whole thing work?
It all goes down at the microscopic level. First, that light slips through your skin. Then, inside your cell's little power plants, the mitochondria, there are these special molecules that are basically built to absorb light. And when they soak up that light energy, it's like a shot of espresso for the cell. It just fires up the production of ATP, which is the fuel that runs basically everything in your body. And with more fuel in the tank, the cell can just do its job way better and way faster. Repairing itself, making new cells, the whole shebang.
And once you've got that energy boost at the cellular level, it sets off this whole chain reaction of good stuff. We're talking about blocking pain signals right at the source, in the nerve fibers. It can trigger your body to release its own natural pain pillars, endorphins. It also helps calm down the chemicals that cause inflammation. And, on top of all that, it can increase nitric oxide, which helps your blood vessels relax. And what does that do? It boosts blood flow to the area, which means more oxygen, more nutrients, everything you need to heal.
So think about that. If the basic mechanism is just making your cells work better, you can probably imagine that the list of potential uses is going to be huge. And when you actually look at the research, boy, is it wide-ranging.
And I mean really wide-ranging. This isn't just for a sore shoulder after a workout. Scientists have looked at using this for, get this, traumatic brain injuries and nerve pain, for things like hair loss and diabetic foot ulcers, for repairing bones and tendons, and even to help with the awful side effects of cancer therapy. It's kind of mind-blowing how broad the scope is.
Okay, so we've got a solid scientific reason for how it could work, and this massive list of things it might be able to treat. It sounds amazing, right? But, and this is a big but, this is where the story gets really complicated. This is the evidence paradox. When you dive into the actual scientific papers, it's confusing. I mean, look at this. Here are just 3 major reviews on pain. One from 2010 finds a big positive effect. Awesome. But another one from the same year says it's no better than a placebo. And then you go back to 93, and that study says it has no effect at all. What is going on? How can the exact same technology give you such completely opposite results?
Well, this quote right here pretty much nails it. The problem is that there's no standard recipe. Think about it. With a pill, you know the dose is, say, 500 milligrams. It's standardized. But with LLT, nope. Different researchers are using different colors of light, different power settings, different amounts of time. Everything is different. It's just impossible to compare the results when the methods are all over the map.
And we have to be clear about this. Just because it's called low level doesn't mean it's risk-free, especially if it's not done right. You could be looking at burns, changes in skin color, scarring, or even serious eye damage if you're not careful. This just hammers home why getting those standards and proper training in place is so important.
So where are we then? We've got this technology that makes sense on a scientific level, it has all this amazing potential, but it's totally stuck because nobody can agree on the best way to do it. So what's next? What's the path forward?
And that really is the million-dollar question here, isn't it? Is this a genuine medical breakthrough just waiting for us to perfect it? Or is it all just hype that can't be proven consistently?
You know, the most honest answer seems to be that it's a really promising tool that just doesn't have an instruction manual yet. The science behind it feels solid. The potential seems real. The problem isn't the light itself. It's that we haven't figured out the perfect recipe. You know, the right dose of light for the right problem for just the right amount of time.
So that kind of leaves us with one last big idea to chew on. Maybe the question we should be asking isn't if light can heal. Because honestly, at the cellular level, it really seems like it can. The real challenge, the one that's worth millions, is how. How do we figure out the rules, standardize the process, and turn all this incredible potential into something that works reliably, every single time for the millions of people who really need it?